Hundreds of Kenyan University students marched to the capital Nairobi in memory of 148 people who were killed at the Garissa University College last Thursday. The students called on the Kenyan government to enhance security in institutions of learning and the country. A candlelit vigil will also be held for the victims this evening.
Hundreds of Kenyans are holding a candlelit vigil in the capital Nairobi in honor of 147 people who were killed in the Garissa University massacre. Most of those who are here are students from the university, Kenyans who say they are standing with the parents of those who lost their lives. Most of the parents say they sacrificed a lot to send their children to school. Behind me you see people lighting candles. We have here more than 147 candles, 147 crosses, 147 Kenyan flags. These children have been described as patriots, they have been described as heroes and people who held the dream of the country alive until the last minute. From Nairobi, I am Sarah Kemani for SABC News.
Tula mama, tula, tula mama, tula.
On the story, we're now joined on the line by our correspondent Sarah Kimani. Sarah, we've just seen the visuals from the memorial vigil taking place. Please take us through what's currently happening.
Well, what is currently happening is that a lot of people are coming because this is the time people are leaving their offices, people and classes, those who go for evening classes. They're passing by Uhuru Park, one of the main parks in the capital, Nairobi, most of them with candles, rose stands. I'm just walking and they have little pieces of paper written, which they're placing on a notice board where some of the names of the students and the security guards who died in Garissa are placed. And so they put there their messages. Some, when you speak to them, they say, these are lost dreams, lost hopes. Some are even angry that they think more could have been done to save the lives of those young people.
Sarah, we understand that earlier on students marched to President Kenyatta's office. Any reaction from him or his office on this march?
Well, they have not responded yet, but the students had a very clear agenda. They read a three-point petition, and what they were saying they want first that the parents of these students are compensated. They even have a figure. They say they should be given about 2 million Kenya shillings. They also say that a memorial should be built in honor of these students, these people who died in the Garissa massacre, who include also 3 security officers and 2 security guards. But apart from those students, in honor of those students, they wanted to include the names of every Kenyan who has lost their life, or every person who has lost their lives on the Kenyan soil to terrorism. They also want the Kenyan government to up security in institutions of higher learning. The Kenyan president has insisted that the fight on terror is on. He's yet to respond to that demonstration by university students today.
Let's look at the overall situation in Kenya. Are tensions still high?
Well, tension is not high, but the sense you get is of people who sometimes are angry, sometimes are hopeless, sometimes are so determined to hold the government to account and so determined to ensure that Al-Shabaab and these Islamic and these militant groups, do not win the war in the country, on the ground, that they will do anything. Take, for example, now, since the attack happened, there is a trend on Twitter saying 147 is not just a number. To say that there are 147 people who died is not just a number, but there are lives of people who had dreams ahead of them. So you see a lot of resilience, you see a lot of anger, but you see also people determined to stay together.
Lastly, Sarah, going back to the Garissa attack, earlier on the names of the victims had not been released. Any indication as to when or if government will release the names?
Usually the government does not release names, and we do not expect them to release the names now, mostly because in this case, we're talking about it's going to 5 days now since the attack happened. The government said 147 people died. Those names are placed on tables. They will not be made official to the media or to the rest of the country, just to their relatives. However, when you speak to some of the parents, they're still moving from mortuary to Garissa University, to Garissa hospitals, to the hospitals here in Nairobi, looking for their loved ones. Meaning sometimes the reason they may not give these numbers is because the numbers are higher, or because in the midst of all that confusion, they may not be able to actually get the clearer number or the real names of the people who died.
We'll have to leave it there. Thanks for the update, Sarah. That was our correspondent Sarah Kimani giving us the latest from Kenya.